Well, yours truly, Pastor Dave, has made the news, the San Diego Union Tribune out of San Diego, California. I was contacted and interviewed by a reporter for the San Diego Union Tribune last week. He's seen a video that I uploaded to my channel, America First, where it showed veterans that fought for the very freedoms that we enjoy here today. Men, women, little children, American citizens, sleeping in tents under an overpass, a viaduct, in the richest nation on the earth, while so many of these nonprofits are sending money, truckloads of money, to illegal immigrants at the border. We've got so many here suffering, so many hurting, and that's what I explained to the reporter. So we got a little bit of publicity. Let me take you to the article right now. I'll put the link to this article in the description box, show more section below. Helping the Central American migrants, the do's and don'ts. The article's quite long. I want to skip ahead. Help is on the way, but is it the right sort of help? And is it going to the right people? For the roughly 6,200 Central American asylum seekers in Tijuana, those are the critical questions. Waiting for U.S. officials to review their applications, a process that may take weeks or months. These men, women, and children are living rough. Well, let me tell you something. They're living rough right here. American citizens, veterans that have lost their limbs, fought for the very freedoms that we have today, that we can enjoy such news articles as the San Diego Union Tribune. Living homeless. They're living rough. They're living out on the streets. I've got a soldier in Flint, Michigan that's keeping his post. He's got PTSD and he can't get any help. He can't get any help from the VA. And we call him the frozen soldier. I've got men, women, and small children in a tent city somewhere in a wooded area off of Dort Highway tonight. American citizens that came here, but their relatives and ancestors came here the right way. Let me skip ahead to where they mention Trumpet of God Ministries and our outreach to the homeless. Again, you'll have the entire article. Let me try to get to the right spot here. It's a good read. It's a very good article, and I want you to read it in its entirety. I just want to get to the place where when I hear they're talking about blankets and rain jackets. We need blankets here. We need rain jackets here. We need diapers here. We've got people starving to death, freezing to death. Last winter, homeless gentleman, an American veteran, climbed to get out of the elements, the below zero temperatures in Bay City. He climbed in the back of a empty semi-trailer. And the truck driver in the morning found him frozen to death. Another homeless person, an American citizen, born and raised under the red, white, and blue, but was homeless of no fault of his own, and to seek shelter from the freezing temperatures last year, he climbed on someone's porch in Pontiac, Michigan. And when the gentleman came out in the morning to get ready for work, he found this man frozen to death on his front porch. Right or wrong? Let's take a look here. I think this is the part I'm looking for. We're going to find it. But look at the money they're raising. GoFundMe. Look at the amount of money. The initial goal was $5,000 by Friday. The total was nearly 5 times that amount to go to illegal immigrants, some of them MS-13, in excess of $24,000. The people that storming the border, the migrant caravans, they were lied to. The mass majority were lied to by those with a hatred, a political hatred agenda against the current party in power. It was a setup. They were set up. They were told that they could come in to the land of freedom, the land of opportunity. They were used like a pawn in a house of cards. The very people that lied to these migrants, these illegals, that lied to them, told them to get in caravans, that they would be welcomed. They live in gated communities. They live in houses with a wall. They're talking about all against, oh, we can't build a wall, but they have a wall around, a fortress around their home and their property with armed guards, armed security, 24/7. I'm sorry, but I'm getting a little bit hot under the collar. Forgive me, Lord Jesus. $24,000. You know what $24,000 could do to help the people of Detroit, Michigan, and Flint, Michigan, and other areas? Wisconsin, Indiana. Here we go. We've got American citizens tonight who, while you and I are in the comfort of our own homes or our own offices, are outside freezing, said Dave Zacker, pastor of Trumpet of God Ministries in Grand Blanc, Michigan. When Zacker heard about the Central American caravan, he posted on YouTube a video of homeless people huddled beneath a bridge on the outskirts of Flint, Michigan. I want to do a correction. It was on the outskirts of Wisconsin. It's everywhere. I hope you're watching. Reporter that interviewed me, interview me again. I hope you're watching. It's everywhere. Look at the homeless in California. Society in America turns a blind eye to the homeless, Zacker said, some of whom are veterans. As for the migrants, he said, we are a nation that welcomes immigrants, but it needs to be done the right way, not by political hatred to try to bring down a presidency and to make a person in power look bad. What is the right thing to do? Try to tell this to the parents that are suffering at the loss of their daughters, their children that have been gang raped and killed and murdered. They can't even go jogging in the park by someone that came here illegally. Try to tell it to them that are grieving, that are heartbroken. Society in America turns a blind eye to the homeless, Zacker said, some of whom are veterans. As far as migrants, he said, we're a nation that welcomes immigrants, but it needs to be done the right way. What is the right thing to do? What are the responsibilities of those strangers who showed up on our doorstep, uninvited, but seeking admission? They were invited. Believe me, they were invited. They were told they could come. These are the sort of questions theologians and philosophers wrestle with. It goes on to talk about a few things here, and let me just get caught up for a minute. Many of them would likely qualify as refugees because they are in dire need. Listen to me. Being in dire need, coming from a country that is poor, but has no food, that the leaders of that country squandered the resources, squandered the money, the dollars from the people, and the people are suffering. You got to change the law because that does not give you asylum in America. You can't come here because your country is poor and you're starving. You can only come here. If you don't like it, change the law, but this is the law. You can only come here if you are being persecuted. Your life is in danger. Political persecution to come and gain asylum, or religious persecution. You can't come here because your country can't take care of you. And no, very few are accepted in because they're not coming for any other reason. They're coming here waving the flag of the country that they're trying to escape from. They're coming to the border of the United States carrying the flag of the very country they're trying to escape from while they're burning the American flag. We got people starving to death. Many of them would likely qualify. I'm sorry. You need to correct this article. No, they would not, because they are in dire need. I'm sorry, the law doesn't work that way. Not because you're in dire need. But what about Pastor Dave's concern? But we are overlooking our own poor and suffering souls. I agree, this needs to be done here, said Dr. Christian Rice, an oncologist who volunteers with the International Health Collective. But the cross-border community, the Tijuana community, really is an extension of San Diego. I'm going to put there's a lot more. I'm going to put the link to this below in the description box where it says show more, the San Diego Tribune. You know, I've been fighting this battle of homelessness. I was homeless myself with my family. I see the pain on the weather-beaten faces of the invisible people. That's why they're called invisible. We see migrants coming from other countries, waving the flag of their country as they stampede like cattle the border of America. But we can't see the veteran, the frozen soldiers that fought for this country, that fought and lost limbs, stepped on IUDs, suffering with PTSD, the mothers in holy desperation that can't provide for their children, can't put a roof over their head, and they're out in the street. That's why they're called the invisible people. Again, here's the article, helping the Central American migrants, the do's and don'ts. And finally, to the reporter of the San Diego Union Tribune, and all that are viewing this and watching this, it seems that not much changes in over 2,000 years. Jesus also was homeless. The Son of Man had no place to lay his head, and he was invisible to all but 12. Thanks for watching. Let me have your comments. God bless you.